Are we the product of divine creation, or some laboratory experiment, or a part of a system that saw life evolve here in our world? Are we beings from another planet who came to Earth to seek refuge or to build a new home? For millennia, humans have never shown so much hunger for understanding who we truly are and where we come from. And if you have these questions going through your head right now, do know that you're not alone. Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new to the channel, I would like to introduce you to part 5 of the greatest mystery of our time, the dawning theory that humans may not have come from Earth. In this series, we consider the idea that humanity may have come from somewhere other than our planet. If not, why not? In previous parts of the series, we took a look at what both science and mythology have to say about our origin, and found several theories and stories that took our imagination far beyond anything else before. From the theories of life evolving on Mars to early life being delivered by asteroids and comets from space to humans arriving as aliens from other worlds, we are increasingly being open to a world of possibilities that may not only help us to understand where we come from, but also help us understand whether or not we're alone in the cosmos. In part 4 of the series, we explored several legends that tell of human existence having begun outside of the Earth, and Zachariah Sitchin's The Earth Chronicles, which tells of human origin as a product of a series of lab experiments by the Anunnaki. In this part, we'll take a look at something fascinating and somewhat disturbing at the same time. Also, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification button for other amazing videos. Don't forget to like our videos, comment, and share them with your loved ones and colleagues. So, what is this fascinating thing that we'll be looking at today? Well, what if there's a theory that is a retelling of a religious story about God's creation of man on Earth? Sounds intriguing, right? Well, today we'll be exploring a theory that suggests that the biblical creation story and the war in heaven may not have happened as they were told. First, let us consider the creation story of the Bible and Hebrew texts. What if I told you that the heaven of the Bible is not, in fact, a mysterious, supernatural world, and that God is not a supernatural being? Sounds crazy, right? Well, not for some theorists. According to proponents of the pseudo-scientific hypothesis of ancient astronauts, intelligent aliens, or extraterrestrials, visited Earth hundreds of thousands of years ago. These proponents believe that these intelligent beings were either instrumental in the creation of humans or made contact with them at various times in history. Some theorists believe this contact instrumentally helped humans develop biologically, culturally, religiously, and technologically. One area of thought by some theorists regarding human existence on Earth is the creation story, as told in the biblical book of Genesis and the apocryphal book of Enoch. They believe that events from the time of Adam to the time of Noah were in many ways influenced by extraterrestrials. One major proponent of this theory is the French journalist and writer Marc Dem, who claims that the book of Genesis was a retelling of the creation of man, which took place on another planet. According to his writing in the Encyclopedia of the Paranormal, edited by Gordon Stein, Dem believes that the biblical God, or Yahweh, is an extraterrestrial who created the first set of humans on another planet other than Earth. Later, these humans found themselves on Earth, where they began to reproduce and dominate indigenous species. Other proponents of the theory of ancient astronauts believe that the sons of God mentioned in the book of Genesis chapter 6 verses 1, 2, and 4 and the book of Enoch are historical extraterrestrials known as the Watchers, who were sent to the Earth to monitor human actions and not meddle in human affairs. Some of these extraterrestrials, however, defied regulations. They established relationships with humanity, breeding with human females and sharing their expertise. The sexual relationship they had with human women led to the birth of the Nephilim, some half-alien, half-human hybrids. Theorists such as Mark Eastern and Chuck Missler believe that this interbreeding appears to have been a big issue on the planet Earth, having altered the human gene pool. They also believe that the presence of these extraterrestrials, later imagined in religion as fallen angels, did not taint Noah's ancestry. They also theorize that UFOs seen in modern times carry the fallen angels or their descendants who continue to dwell among humans to this day. If you're a religious person, a Jew, Christian, or Muslim, then you most definitely are aware of the story of the big fallout in heaven between God and Satan. If you're an atheist, then you most definitely dismiss the story as unreal and made up. But what if there's more to the story than meets the eye? What if the proponents of the ancient astronauts theory were right, and that God, Satan, the angels, and the rest of the heavenly hosts were indeed extraterrestrials? So let's say they are right. That would mean that heaven is just a physical place outside of the Earth. But what has this place got to do with the planet Mars? Well, let us examine both the story of the fall of Satan and the mysterious war on Mars. According to religious texts, God and the host of heaven were living in peace and harmony until a disagreement broke out between God and an angel called Samael, or Lucifer, as some sources state. This disagreement would later lead to a mutiny by this angel, and 1/3 of the angels who supported his cause on one side, and the rest of heaven who stood on the side of God on the other. It's not clear what the timeline of this war was, but it eventually ended with the defeat of the rebels. This angel became Satan, who was expelled from heaven or hauled down to earth, as some sources state. Expelled along with him were his comrades, who were to be called the fallen angels, or demons. On the other hand, theorists like Dr. John Brandenburg, an American scientist who worked for NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, believed that Mars was once a planet with an ancient civilization like those that were later found on Earth. According to Brandenburg, the Martians, or extraterrestrials who lived on Mars, had created 2 separate civilizations, each with millions of people. These separate groups had quarreled between themselves, leading to a nuclear conflict that was fought for an unspecified number of years. In the end, one of the 2 civilizations detonated a bomb that wiped out the first. This cataclysmic event led to a climate change that ultimately wiped out both civilizations. Some of the Martians, however, escaped and found themselves on Earth, where they began life all over. In fact, in the Martian Boy videos on my channel, I have shared the story of Boriska Kiprianovich, a Russian boy who claims to be from Mars, but was reborn on Earth. He too tells the same stories about the Martian wars that took place. So what link exists between the Abrahamic religious stories of the fall of Satan and the mysterious war on Mars? Well, for one, there was once peace between both the hosts of heaven and the Martians. Secondly, in both cases, there was a split that gave rise to two factions that later went to war with each other. Also, in both cases, one party gained the upper hand over the other and came out victorious at the end of the war. The war in heaven led to the exile of 1/3 of the host of heaven, including their leader, Satan, who left for Earth, while one or both groups of the Martians arrived on Earth following the destruction of their home world. Could it be just a coincidence that these stories seem similar? Could it be that they're in fact the same story, only that the Mars story was reimagined in a religious sense, with God being the leader of the winning side and Satan the leader of the other? We may never know for sure, but if you are like me, then your mind may be trying to connect the dots and bring the links together. Whatever the case may be, however, one thing that's for sure is that both stories may help us solve the mystery that has for long eluded even the greatest of intellectuals in human societies. So, do you think it's possible that God is an alien and that he created man first on another planet? Do you also believe that there's a strong correlation between the stories of the fall of Satan and the war of Mars that may be key to helping us find out where we truly come from? Let me know by dropping your comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like the post, and turn on your notification button as I may be bringing part 6 your way. Also, share this video with your loved ones so that they can share in this fascinating world of knowledge.